It's about to get eaten. We're sitting there and all of a sudden the hole opened up. I have a margarita. Yummy. We are Preston and Shauna, sailing our 1988 Catalina 36 around the Pacific Northwest. Between the two of us, we have 7 kids, and we have a little time before our nest is completely emptied. Join us for the next 5 years of sailing adventures as we learn the ropes and make plenty of mistakes. Gearing up for the day, we can sell all our crap and become full-time liveaboards, sailing off into the sunset. So the shower sump pump making a deep noise, not really sucking anything out. Take a look, and that's what I find in the little fan blade or whatever. That is not my hair, and you'll never see Shauna cleaning this thing. Oh no. Now let's see how she runs. Yummy. You know how nice it is to just have a super simple fix like that every once in a while? That feels like a rarity. Damn, I look old. Holy moly. We just left Gig Harbor. It's 7 in the morning. It's a little misty. Right here, it's, oh man, the air feels so good. It's just the right temperature for morning. Reminds me of waking up in Hawaii. It's misty down here, but I expect as we go around the corner, it looks like it's gonna be more like fog, so we might have a bit of an issue. We don't have radar, and I don't have one of those radar reflectors either on this boat, so when I get stuck in a bunch of fog, you just go toward the shore and you anchor and wait it out. It's just Tristan and myself for this first half of the trip, these first 2 weeks, and then Olive and Kai are going to meet us up there. They're hitching a ride with my parents on their boat, it sounds like. We technically could push all the way through 13 hours or so and get to the islands, but I decided to go on the outside of Whidbey Island because it shouldn't be too nasty as it sometimes is out there. It's a little quicker trip that way also. We should be able to get to Port Townsend. The thing that'll screw that up for us is the current. The current just south of Port Townsend can get really strong, like going under the Narrows Bridge strong, 3 to 4 knots. Tristan told me he wanted me to wake him up, so he was up and about while we were getting underway. Guess he's still asleep. I think a lot of small channels are afraid to say this out loud, like they're afraid to sound negative or something. I'm not afraid of that, I'm just gonna say it. We've been doing this for about 1.5 years, and we don't even have 200 subscribers yet. That's really surprising to me. Like, it doesn't super bum me out, but kind of does, because everything you do, at least me, I think that's general for every human. You want to be successful at it to some degree. You know, we get about 200 views a video now within the first week, which that excites me. I mean, we didn't have 200 people at any of our shows in my band, but geez, 1.5 years in and we're not even at 1,000 subscribers yet. I mean, I would have liked to have slightly more success. And sometimes I do get down on myself on spending so much time thinking about the camera and what to do, even though that is fun. I mean, I like filmmaking. That's what I went to school for, and you know, I don't want to do that for my career. But it's still fun to think about angles and shots and things like that, even though I'm not that great at it. But at the same time, I feel like I do miss just the sit around on your on your fat ass boat life that I did do before. Yeah, it makes me wonder, like, why some channels, you know, I see some other ones out there. I'm only talking about sailing channels that are way younger than us, and they have thousands and thousands of subscribers, and you're going, how? So you watch all their videos and you kind of study them and you go, these aren't very good. The cameras are shaky, the dialogue's terrible, they're all trying too hard, or at least it feels like it to me. Yeah, so it makes me wonder if, like, we just suck that bad. If we do, be honest. Be totally honest. Don't be rude, but be honest. If we suck, then I'm not gonna keep going. Of course, there's people that do like this, and I super appreciate them, and it is fun to know that people get some enjoyment out of the time spent and watching us be stupid. But I have a feeling the majority don't think it's very good, and that's why we only have 170 some subscribers. You know, other channels that are really big now, you watch their early videos, and none of them are talking, they never mention current subscriber count, which is really weird to me. Like, do they go back and edit that out for some reason? Like, they don't want people to know how low their subscriber count is at that time or was? I think that's really interesting. I haven't found a single channel, and there's a bazillion out there, and I watch quite a number of them, but I haven't found a single one that mentions low subscriber count, except maybe recently. And it's See the Little Things. They have, I don't know, 1,000 or 11,000 or so subscribers, and they're like, geez guys, if we don't have like 100,000 by the end of this year, we're just done. And they're joking because they're hilarious, and they have the absolute best sarcastic humor you can find out there. I wish I was that funny.
Now and then it seems I got a lot to learn. Show love that care I see.
We're coming up, getting closer to this fog bank here. It doesn't look too thick. It looks thicker on the west side of the channel. So I'm kind of cheating out toward the center, toward the east, and maybe we can just go around it. But you know, sometimes the fog looks super thick from afar, and the closer and closer you get, and once you're in it, it's not as thick as you thought, and you still have at least a quarter mile or more of visibility once you're in there. Nowadays, I don't really mind going in there and doing that. And you know, I complain an awful lot about Washington, you know, up here, this Pacific Northwest weather most of the year. But man, when summer finally does arrive, it is the best place to live. You know, it gets 80 or 90. You know, everyone blames climate change, but dude, when I was growing up, it was 80s and 90s every summer also. I'm not a climate change denier. I'm just pointing out it was always this hot. It always was. You know, when we finally get over to the East Coast, which I just, something drastic would have to change in our lives to not take us over there. I kind of foresee in the summer heading up toward Maine, so we can kind of get this same similar type of climate, and then in the winter heading down south. I don't know if that works with hurricane season or not. I don't know anything about when that happens over there. Even though I watch a bazillion sailing channels, I should have all that memorized by watching other people, but I don't. I don't remember meteorology perfectly from flight school, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. So when there's a thin layer like this of fog right at the water, but it's not very tall, that tells me that the dew point is right above the water, and that's it. You don't have to go very high off the water for it to not be very wet air, if that makes sense. Which also tells me the air isn't very wet by and large, which means the rising sun isn't going to take very long to burn all this off. It's starting to look a little thicker now. We may be going IFR. See, I'm still a pilot, Simon. Yeah, so we are in it. There's quite a bit of current going with us. I've slowed way down. We're going about 5 knots now. Through the water, we're only going about 2. I'm only slowing down because, you know, in the fog you can't really tell what your visibility is, but it's only like a 20-foot layer, it looks like, so it's gonna burn off pretty quick. while we're in here, I think. But I've slowed down a lot, so if I do see something, I'm not, you know, screaming toward it. The scary thing is, you know, little fishing boats, you know, running around in here like crazy. It seems like they never go slow. They're going full blast in fog they can't see anything in. With the engine at much, much, much lower RPM, I can hear a whole lot more. So I can really listen for other boat motors and stuff. As I was talking, there was quite a loud horn. It sounded like it was coming from the north heading south, and I was heading north. Loud enough to be like a tugboat, something like that. And I still had no visibility, so I've turned around and I'm coming out of the fog now, and we're just going to drift in the openness until it clears up a little bit. So that's a little scary. Yeah, it's definitely coming from behind me. I don't know if you could hear it, but we at least have visibility now. So I'm gonna sit out here and watch it come out of the fog, which will be cool. What's a little creepy is I was very far right channel, which is where I should be, and outside of the shipping lane. I was so close, hugging to the side. And whatever this is sounds like it's coming the wrong way down my side of the channel. So if this is like a pleasure craft, it's gonna be kind of annoying to me. And there he is. Looks like a pleasure craft to me, right down the center of the channel. That was a little creepy. So I think we'll just wait it out. I don't like hearing horns that I can't see. I would have hailed him on the radio to ask him what the fog looked like north, since he just came through it. But my radio, I'm pretty sure, doesn't work. At least it's not transmitting, I don't think. So I'm not even gonna bother with that. I think on this trip, I didn't do it. I was holding off. I should have bought a little handheld radio. But I think when we get up to the islands, when we run across the marine store, I'll just grab one. But already, in just the time we turned around, the fog is clearing, so I don't think we're gonna be sitting here very long. Tristan's bored of waiting, so we're gonna go see how thick the fog is. Doesn't Tristan look so cool? It is shrinking. You know, I think our mast will stick out the top. We'll see how much visibility we have when we're in it. No, it's still just too thick. It's stupid to go in there. And just like that, we're sitting there and all of a sudden the hole opened up. Which makes me think we were just in a pocket of it that was about a mile long. Because up there looks really clear. I bet had we just pushed through it carefully, we could have kept going instead of sitting here for an hour, which we did. It's been an hour sitting here. But, you know, is it worth the risk? No, not really. I like life. That fog layer looks really cool. Reminds me of how fun it was in flight school. Funnest thing to do with flying these little, you're not supposed to, but I always did. If I saw a cloud, I went and chased it down. You're supposed to stay away from them unless you're IFR, but I didn't. I thought it was fun to skirt through them. If it was a small cloud, just cheat, go through it really quick. Really fun. Don't tell anyone. Look how thick it is behind us still. Wide open in front. For me, a lot of the fun of sailing is that decision making. Not even necessarily while you're sailing, it's the navigation and the fog and the current and reading the weather, all those things. That's a big part of the fun for me. I just put, with Tristan's help, while he was hoisting the main, I sprayed a bunch of sail coat in the track as it went up. Holy cow, what a difference. I mean, we've probably done some damage, like needless wear and tear on the sail lugs, cranking them up. I mean, it felt like we were breaking stuff, and I was always scared to crank it because it was way too hard. Now it's greased lightning. Aside from the fog, it's been pretty uneventful. It's about noon. We're not quite halfway. We saw a couple whales from a bit of a distance. They were in the middle of the channel. We're to the west of the channel. I doubt it came out on the camera, but we did see them. We're making good time, basically averaging 6 knots for the entire trip so far. If it weren't for the current that turns right about 2 o'clock coming through Port Townsend, we'd be able to make it to the islands today no problem before sundown, but we won't, it's not worth bashing through that current for hours and hours and hours. So it's almost 4 o'clock. We're on our last leg. But the current is pushing against us. We're only going like 3 knots. And it's going to get a little worse until it starts subsiding around 5 o'clock. So it's going to be like 3 more hours to go. Not that far. The wind is like dead on a 45-degree angle. But sadly, I had just put down the main after running with it all day. It was just banging back and forth, and I thought, whatever it's doing for me is not worth the wear and tear. Then all of a sudden I take it down. 30 minutes later, there's like 15 knots of wind. I was like, no, I'm not putting that back up. So I tried with the Genoa to sail at a 45-degree angle and still go the direction I wanted to. It just wasn't having it. I couldn't get it tight enough. There was no way. Or it rolled in super tight. And I ran out of rope in the drum, so it's kind of a mess. I had to go up there and wrap the last few wraps around manually and tie it. Every time we head north and go the Port Townsend WA on the west side of Whidbey Island across the Strait of Juan de Fuca, every time we do it I say I'm never going to do it again. If you go on the inside, the east side of Whidbey, you're not going to have any wind. You're going to motor the whole way, guarantee, but there's no current. Here, you go this way because you hope maybe I'll have some wind. And there is some wind. It's just, you know, with the current going 3 knots against us, you really can't sail into that. It's at a 45-degree angle. We would just go nowhere, even though we could sail. It's just a waste of time going this way. It's better just to go the inside. You're comfortable. You're not going to get any wind probably, but you're going to get further. You're going to get there earlier. I think this is definitely the last time I'm going to fight this current. It's brutal. It should take us an hour to get there from here, and it's going to take us 3 more. But I have a margarita. Right there is that little cruise ship that was in Poulsbo. It looked pretty big in Poulsbo. Behind it is a real cruise ship that's the size of a city. That big, small cruise ship could easily fit 5 of themselves inside that huge one. It looks like just gigantic. It's about to get eaten. Dude, that really puts it in perspective. That little cruise ship is not a small ship. Damn, that's nuts. I was gonna make a great poop joke. This fishing boat got in the way. What a bunch of turds. The big cruise ship looked like it was pooping out the small cruise ship.